I'm on the floor of the newly named Japan Mobility Show. Now in 2019, when it was called the Japan Motor Show, well, EVs were as rare as hen's teeth. This time around at this show, well, there are EVs of every stripe everywhere. Let's take a look at a few of the top contenders.
Over my shoulder and behind a crowd of people is the prettiest car to debut at the Japan Mobility Show. We're here with Driving.ca showing the newest, greatest releases from different manufacturers here at the show, and all of them pretty much are electrified. The Mazda Iconic SP, no exception. Though it contains a two-rotor rotary engine, it's just there to charge a battery pack and the drive is electric. It's not really a rotary-powered sports car, even though it has a rotary and it is a sports car. But beyond that, the specs are quite good. Of course, it's a concept, so you can kind of make up whatever specs you want, but it's nice that Mazda actually delivered us some specifications. So they say 50-50 front-rear weight distribution, a curb weight of just 1,450 kilos, and a power output of 365 horsepower. Those are really, really good sports car numbers, and we need a minute to talk about the design of this car. It's absolutely beautiful. There's some FD RX-7 elements in it, a little bit of retro touch, including pop-up headlights. When was the last time you saw those on a concept? And the interior, I think it's just as pretty as the exterior. In fact, the drive selector reminds me a lot of the same that you'd find in a Ferrari Roma, for example. So it's a very, very elegant design. And I hope that Mazda ends up making something that looks like this, because Mazda hasn't had a big, prestigious, sporty coupe since the 90s. The car was penned by lead designer Nakashi Nakayama, whose work is also shown on the ND MX-5. His influences, well, he loves classic sports cars. His favorite car is Lamborghini Miura, and his favorite Mazda is the Mazda Cosmo. And there's certainly some classic touches here on the Iconic SP concept. But for those hoping it's a true return of the RX-7 that we love and cherish, it's not that. And I'm not sure that such a concept would ever be viable. But there's no denying that it's pretty, and it's one step closer to the rotary coming back to our roads.
Where EVs were a rarity at Toyota expositions in Tokyo, there are no less than 3 concepts here showing the future is very much electric, coming from the world's largest automaker. The first of those concepts is right behind me, that beautiful gold supercar. It's called the FT S3. That stands for Future Toyota Sports Electric. It looks a lot like a cross between a Lexus LFA and a Lexus LC. It really is that beautiful. And I think they're going to produce it just as it is. I think it's going to be just like the LC. The LC was shown at the Detroit Auto Show in 2016 and went into production in 2018. It was virtually unadulterated from the concept car, and is by far the most beautiful car Toyota has put out in its long history. We're hoping they do the same thing with the FT SE. We have no details yet, no kilowatt hours for the battery, no horsepower or kilowatts for the electric motors, but I suspect, and that's just me guessing, that it's probably on the performance side of 500 horsepower. Much more mainstream is the FT3E, Future Toyota, 3rd generation electric. Again, we don't know anything about the battery size, its range, its horsepower. But what we do know is Toyota is emphasizing its space efficiency and its packaging efficiency. To me, that sounds like that car is going to have one of Toyota's new solid-state batteries. Now, Toyota has been behind the 8 ball on the production of electric vehicles, but its research into solid state is leading edge, and solid state batteries have enormous advantages, promising longer range and greater power with a smaller and lighter battery. The 3E is promising a roomier cabin and cheaper pricing. More importantly, the 3E looks even more production ready than the SE sports electric car. As excited as I am about these two products, especially the SE, the one that really counts is the EPU, electric pickup. And no, Toyota doesn't have very much imagination when it comes to naming cars, which is going to be their most mainstream electric product yet. Let's go take a look at it. If the other two Toyota concepts looked like they were production ready, this one, the EPU, looks like it's ready to be registered down at the MTO. The door handles, the tail lamps, I swear to God, they have part numbers. As for where it's going to fit in the general spectrum of things, think of Tacoma styling in Ford Maverick sizing. In other words, it's that sweet spot where the truck is going to be small enough to get good range, but large enough to actually get some work done. More importantly, this one too will probably have Toyota's latest solid-state batteries by the time it goes into production, which may alleviate some of the range problems that pickups have. Whatever the case, if this one doesn't go into production just as it is, I'm going to write a motor mouth on how stupid I was.
BMW chose the Japan Mobility Show to reveal a world premiere, and that was the X2. Now this thing will come with gasoline engines, but the big reveal is right behind me. That is the all-electric iX2. Underpinning the latest sport activity vehicle is a new platform with a longer wheelbase. It's capable of supporting gas and diesel engines as well as a fully electric powertrain. There will be 3- and 4-cylinder gas engines and a 48-volt mild hybrid system. The intriguing unit will be the iX2 with 313 horsepower, a run to 100k of 5.6 seconds, and a range that varies between about 415 and 450 kilometers. The M35i M Performance will appeal to the petrol heads in the crowd. With 300 horsepower, a run to 100k of 5.4 seconds, an M adaptive suspension, and of course massive M Sport brakes. One of the biggest reveals in Tokyo was actually done ahead of the show, and it's not on the showroom floor because it's an Infiniti, and Infiniti doesn't exist here. Now the vehicle in question is the Vision QE. It gives a very clear reference as to where Infiniti is going to go with its future electric vehicles. The Vision QE is finished in a bespoke shadow blue paint that marries a deep blue base coat with gold highlights. Now the manner in which the light plays off the body is eye-catching to say the least. Up front, the distinctive shark-like nose wears a 3D illuminated Infiniti badge and hosts the piano key headlights. Follow the arcing roofline rearwards and it finishes above another arcing light that sits above an Infiniti badge and more piano key taillights. The coolest part of the concept is the 23-inch wheels. The spokes look like they've been woven and actually resemble the windings of an electric motor. It is different and very attractive. So there you have it, some of the hot commodities at the 2023 Japan Mobility Show. Now if you do want more information, go to Driving.ca and there are written versions of all of the cars we've looked at. From the floor of the Japan Mobility Show, I'm Graham Fletcher in Tokyo for Driving.ca.